The millionaire was suddenly flustered by his employee's words when he accidentally saw an old photo on Daniel Hartman's desk. The photo was old, its edges worn, and its colors had faded over time. To most people, it was just an ordinary personal keepsake. But to Nathan, a young intern at Hartman Enterprises, the photo was the key to unlocking a deep mystery about his own life. When Nathan saw the photo, his heart nearly stopped. The woman in the picture resembled his mother, Amanda, with her brown hair and familiar warm smile. How could this be possible? His mother had never mentioned any connection to Daniel, let alone having her photo on his desk. Nathan struggled to comprehend, but he couldn't take his eyes off the photo. The woman in it was younger, likely in her 20s, but there was no mistaking that smile, the same one that had comforted him throughout his childhood. Questions began flooding Nathan's mind. Who was this woman to Daniel Hartman? Why had his mother never mentioned this? Suddenly, Daniel walked into the room, interrupting Nathan's thoughts. "Is everything all right, Nathan?" Daniel's voice startled him. Nathan quickly apologized, pointing to the photo. Daniel's eyes landed on the picture, and for a brief moment, a shadow of sadness crossed his face. "Yes, a very dear friend from long ago," he murmured. The way Daniel said, "friend," gave Nathan the sense that something was hidden beneath the surface. He wanted to ask more, but Daniel's gaze prevented him from doing so. Nathan quickly left the room, but the image clung to him, opening a door to a past he had never known. Nathan's world extended beyond the glamour of Hartman Enterprises. Everything in his life revolved around his mother, Amanda, a strong and determined woman. At 38, Amanda still looked youthful for the mother of a 22-year-old son. Her chestnut brown hair and gentle eyes reflected Nathan's features, and her smile could light up a room. Although her life had not been easy, Amanda had worked hard to create a warm and loving environment for her son in their small apartment. But in those cozy family photos, there was always a noticeable absence: Nathan's father, whom his mother had never spoken about. When Nathan started his new job at Hartman Enterprises, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was something mysterious about Daniel Hartman, the wealthy CEO he was working for. The way Daniel looked at him sometimes was a mix of affection and something that felt like regret. Nathan sensed that Daniel knew something about him, a secret he had yet to uncover. All of these suspicions erupted when Nathan accidentally saw a photo on Daniel's desk. In the picture was a young woman who bore an uncanny resemblance to his mother. An unease gripped Nathan, and he couldn't stop thinking about that photo. It was like a puzzle piece revealing a truth Nathan had never known, a truth beyond his reach. One evening, as Nathan helped his mother prepare dinner, his unease became more evident than ever. The sizzle of onions in the pan no longer brought the comfort it once had. Finally, he couldn't hold back and asked his mother, "Did you know Daniel Hartman before I started working for him?" Amanda froze, her hand trembling as she dropped the knife she was holding. "Why do you ask?" she replied, her voice strained. Nathan hesitated, then said, "I saw a picture of you on his desk." Amanda's face turned pale. She gripped the edge of the table, her knuckles white with tension. After a long silence, she said, "There are things about my past that I've never told you." Nathan felt as if his whole world was shaking beneath his feet. "What things, Mom?" he asked, confusion flooding his voice. Amanda looked deeply into her son's eyes, finally sighing and whispering, "Daniel Hartman isn't just your boss. He was once an important part of my past." The revelation struck Nathan like a dagger to the heart, making him feel as if he had been thrown into an abyss of truth. Why had his mother never told him about this? Why had she kept it a secret for so many years? Confusion and pain surged through him, but at the same time, he knew this was only the beginning of the secrets that had been buried for too long. As night fell, Nathan couldn't escape the image of the photo and the unanswered questions. He realized that the truth, with all its complexities and consequences, was waiting for him somewhere. A storm was approaching, ready to change his life forever. Under the guise of organizing old files, Nathan began exploring the company's historical records. As he sifted through the documents, he gradually uncovered a web of shell companies and suspicious financial transactions. But what caught his attention most were clues related to the personal connection between Daniel Hartman and his family. This went far beyond merely knowing his mother. The deeper he dug, the more he discovered documents related to a mysterious project called Phoenix, dating back to the year he was born. The details of Project Phoenix were vague, but there were indications that it involved large payments to unidentified individuals. One of the names that appeared might have been his mother's. The climax of his discovery came when Nathan stumbled upon a locked filing cabinet in a hidden corner of the archive room. Using skills he never thought he'd need, Nathan managed to unlock the cabinet and found a file with his name on it. His hands trembled as he opened the file, and inside was a complete record of his life. School transcripts, medical records, and even surveillance photos he had never known about. But what made his blood run cold was the DNA test result. The report indicated that he and Daniel Hartman shared the same genetic code. The shocking truth. Daniel wasn't just a figure from his mother's past. He was Nathan's biological father. Nathan was overwhelmed by this discovery. He spent the entire night wandering through a storm of confusion and pain. Why had his mother hidden this from him all these years? Why had Daniel kept his distance only to arrange for Nathan to work at his company? And what was the true nature of Project Phoenix? The questions spun through his mind, with no answers in sight. Sitting in his dark room, Nathan felt the weight of these secrets bearing down on him. He knew he had to make a choice. Either confront his mother and Daniel about the truth he had uncovered, or continue investigating to uncover all the lies that had shaped his life. Taking a deep breath, Nathan decided to keep digging. But this time, he would be more careful. He would play the role of the diligent intern while secretly piecing together the puzzle of his true identity. As dawn broke, Nathan felt ready to face the challenges ahead. He was no longer just an intern trying to impress in the corporate world. He was a son, seeking the truth about his family. He was a detective, unraveling a complex web of lies, and perhaps the key to exposing a conspiracy far larger than he had ever imagined. In the weeks that followed, Nathan's life became a whirlwind of lies and discoveries. By day, he played the role of the eager intern, his calm exterior hiding the turmoil within. By night, he was the detective, piecing together the past and the dark history of Hartman Enterprises. Every interaction with Daniel Hartman was now fraught with complexity. Every word Daniel said carried hidden meanings. Every glance between them was full of unspoken truths, and Nathan began to notice the similarities between him and the man he never expected to be his father. At home, his mother, Amanda, noticed her son's growing distraction and tension. "Is everything okay at work?" she asked, her eyes full of concern. Nathan forced a smile, hiding the questions and pain gnawing at him. "Everything's fine, Mom. I'm just learning a lot." But his words felt hollow, and the bitter truth remained on the tip of his tongue. The deeper Nathan delved into Project Phoenix, the more he uncovered a web of shell companies and offshore accounts. This project wasn't just a company initiative. It was a decades-long conspiracy with ties to the highest levels of power. One late night, while going through financial documents he had discreetly copied from the archives, a familiar name appeared: Michael Carter. His heart nearly stopped. That was the name of the man he had always believed to be his father, the man whose death had left a void in his childhood. But according to these records, Michael had never died. In fact, he was a beneficiary of Project Phoenix, receiving regular payments to an account in the Cayman Islands, with the most recent transaction just 3 months ago. The storm of truth had forced Nathan to confront a new wave of questions. If Michael was alive, why had his mother lied? And how was he connected to Hartman Enterprises? The secrets Nathan uncovered had become a physical burden, weighing down his shoulders and leaving his eyes hollow from sleepless nights. His mother worried about his sudden change, trying to reach out to him. "Please, talk to me," she pleaded. One night, as his mother placed her hand on his shoulder, she said, "Whatever happens, we'll face it together." Nathan looked into her eyes, the woman who had raised him alone. But the fear lurking behind her concern told him everything. "I'm fine, Mom," he lied, hating himself for it. "It's just work stress." Nathan knew that the game had changed, and his journey to uncover the truth had only just begun. The eagerness that once shone in Nathan's bright eyes had gradually been replaced with caution. That gaze had now hardened, something Daniel Hartman, his father, had noticed. One afternoon, as Nathan was preparing to leave the office, Daniel called him back. "Is everything all right, Nathan? You've seemed a bit distracted lately." Nathan's heart raced in his chest. "Does he know what I've found out?" Nathan wondered. He tried to smile, but it felt forced. "I'm fine, Mr. Hartman. Just trying to learn as much as I can." Daniel nodded, but his eyes held a hint of suspicion. "Remember, this door is always open if you need to talk." As Nathan walked out of the room, he couldn't help but wonder whether Daniel's words were the concern of a boss for a promising intern or the worry of a father for his son. Nathan's double life was starting to weigh on him. By day, he attended meetings, compiled reports, and tried to appear as the dedicated intern. But by night, he was lost in a maze of financial documents, seeking the truth about Project Phoenix and his true identity. One night, as Nathan sat among a pile of documents in his small apartment, a childhood memory surfaced. When he was 5 years old, he and his mother had been at a park, and there had been a man watching them from a distance. The man's face was obscured by shadows. Nathan had asked his mother, "Who is that man?" But his mother had quickly pulled him away, her face pale with fear. Now, with adult eyes, Nathan wondered if that man had been Daniel Hartman, watching his son from afar, or Michael Carter, the father he had always believed to be dead. As the weeks went by, Nathan's investigation began to yield results. He uncovered a pattern of bribery and cover-ups spanning decades. At the center of it all was Project Phoenix, a shadowy initiative that was both a slush fund and possibly tied to the Witness Protection Program. But with every answer, new questions emerged. Why had Daniel Hartman, a man known for his sharp business acumen and philanthropy, been involved in such shady dealings? And what role did Nathan's family play in this web of lies? Standing on the edge of the truth, Nathan knew that his next step would change everything. He would no longer face Daniel Hartman as an intern, but as a son, demanding answers. And Nathan would have to ask his mother questions he had never dared to confront. The stage was set for a confrontation that Nathan knew would shake the foundation of Hartman Enterprises and forever change his life. As he prepared for what lay ahead, Nathan couldn't help but wonder what would be left of the life he had known once the truth was revealed. The grand facade of Daniel's mansion loomed before him, but inside Nathan was a storm of emotions and the secrets yet to be uncovered. The gleaming facade of Daniel Hartman's mansion stood in stark contrast to the emotional storm raging inside Nathan. An unexpected dinner invitation had been hand-delivered by Daniel's assistant, with a note saying he wanted to discuss Nathan's future at the company. But Nathan knew this wasn't just a business meeting. As he stood before the mansion door, his finger hovering over the doorbell, Nathan could feel the weight of the past few months bearing down on him. He had convinced his mother, Amanda, to come along. She had reluctantly agreed, her face a mix of fear and determination. The door opened, and Daniel stood there, momentarily frozen at the sight of the two of them. "You came," Daniel whispered, his voice thick with emotion. Dinner began in silence. The clinking of cutlery on fine china echoed in the opulent dining room. Finally, Daniel cleared his throat and said, "I think it's time we resolve some unfinished matters." But before he could continue, Amanda interrupted, her voice full of anger. "Why, Daniel? Why, after all these years?" Daniel winced, his voice heavy with regret. "I've tried. For so many years. He turned to Nathan. "How much do you know?" Nathan took a deep breath and replied, his voice trembling but firm. "I know you're my biological father, about Project Phoenix and the offshore accounts." Nathan's eyes burned with pain. "What I don't understand is why. Why keep this from me all these years?" The room seemed to shrink as the buried secrets began to surface. Daniel explained that Project Phoenix and the secrecy were to protect them from a threat as he worked to expose a major corruption scandal within the government. Amanda gasped, recalling the times they had to move constantly to evade those tracking them. As the truth about Michael Carter, the father Nathan had always believed to be dead, was revealed, Nathan could barely stand. Michael had been a covert operative protecting them, and his death had not been an accident. Nathan felt like everything he had known about his life was crumbling in an instant. He stood up abruptly, the chair scraping against the floor. "I've had my entire life to know the truth. Both of you have lied to me," Nathan shouted in anger. Amanda reached for her son, tears streaming down her face. "We were only trying to protect you, Nathan." But Nathan wasn't listening anymore. The lies from both parents had weighed on his heart for too long. He needed air, needed to escape the suffocating atmosphere of years of deception. Nathan stormed out of the mansion, leaving Daniel and Amanda standing there, drowning in regret. Daniel called after him, "Nathan, please." But the door had already closed with finality. In the days following that dinner, Nathan was consumed by pain and confusion. He took time off work, unable to face the reality that Robert, his biological father, had been working alongside him every day. Even the apartment he'd shared with his mother became stifling, every corner a reminder of the lies that had shaped his life. Everywhere in the city reminded him of painful memories, the skyscrapers that once symbolized his ambition, now mere symbols of dark secrets. Each night, he couldn't sleep. Nathan's dreams were filled with chaos, a mixture of childhood memories and fabricated images. Amanda left tearful voicemail after voicemail, apologizing and begging for forgiveness. But the sound of her familiar voice only added to Nathan's pain. Daniel also sent emails trying to explain and rebuild the bridge with his son. "Everything I did out of love for you and your mother," he wrote. But no matter how many times Nathan read those words, they couldn't erase the truth that his entire life had been built on lies. As time passed, Nathan's pain didn't fade. He became increasingly withdrawn and melancholy, the once ambitious young man now a shadow of his former self. One afternoon, while sitting in a small cafe staring out at the street, Nathan caught his reflection in the window. A gaunt face with dark circles under his eyes and a scruffy beard, evidence of the days he had spent lost in the torment of the truth. When he looked at his reflection in the bus window, Nathan realized he had changed completely. The weight of loss pressed heavily on his shoulders. He had lost not just one father, but two. The memory of Michael Carter, the father Nathan had once trusted, was now clouded by doubt. And Robert, his biological father, had become a complete stranger. The dreams Nathan had of a successful and happy future had now shattered, like sand slipping through his fingers. The Phoenix Project files still lay in his apartment, filled with painful secrets Nathan couldn't bear to face. In the weeks that followed, he found himself at a crossroads. He couldn't return to his normal life, but moving forward seemed equally impossible. Finally, one sleepless night, Nathan made the decision to leave everything behind. He needed to escape the lies that had shaped his life. The next morning, Nathan stood at the bus station with a small bag at his feet and a one-way ticket in hand. He had left a short note for his mother, unable to face her or explain his need to go. As he boarded the bus, Nathan felt a mixture of relief and fear, leaving behind everything he had ever known, but also everything that had been a lie. Just as the bus was about to depart, his phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Nathan, it's Michael. We need to talk. Meet me at Miller's Lake. Please." Nathan's heart raced. This was the father he had believed was dead. Though his first instinct was to dismiss it as a cruel joke, the memory of their fishing trips to Miller's Lake changed his mind. Instead of leaving town, Nathan headed to the lake. As he approached, he saw the silhouette of a man standing by the water's edge. It was Michael, older but unmistakably alive. "Hello, son," Michael said, his voice thick with emotion. Nathan stood frozen, unable to believe what he was seeing. "How is this possible? I thought you were dead," Nathan stammered, his voice full of confusion. Michael sighed, his face full of regret. "I'm sorry. I never wanted things to go this far." As they sat down on the old dock, Michael began to unravel the truth. He admitted that even though he knew Nathan wasn't his biological son, he had loved him like his own from the moment they met. However, the more horrifying truth was that Robert had always been present in their lives. Every job, every financial support had been arranged by Robert. The most terrifying part was the staging of Michael's death. Robert had come to him with a dangerous proposition, asking Michael to help expose illegal activities involving Robert's company. The car accident and Michael's absence over the years were all part of a plan to bring down a criminal organization. After years of working in secret to gather evidence on Sinclair Enterprises' illegal operations, Michael finally revealed the truth to Nathan. All hope now rested on exposing the conspiracy, and Michael couldn't bear the thought of Nathan leaving without knowing the truth. Nathan, overwhelmed by emotion, both angry and shocked, struggled to process everything he was hearing. His mind raced as he realized that both of his fathers, Michael and Robert, had sacrificed so much to protect him and their family. In the moment of confronting the truth, Nathan realized that his past was far more complicated than he had ever imagined. Now he stood before a choice: to run from the web of family secrets, or stay and try to build something new from the shattered pieces of the past. After facing Robert and Jennifer, the family's ties became clearer. Nathan began to understand the love and sacrifice that had shaped his life. Together, they faced the painful truths, but with the hope that forgiveness and second chances could help them rebuild from the ground up. As they worked to expose Sinclair Enterprises' illegal activities, justice was finally served. The company was rebuilt on a foundation of integrity, and Nathan returned to his internship with a renewed understanding of both himself and his family. He began working closely with Robert, not just learning about business, but also gaining a deeper understanding of the father he had never known. The days that followed brought hope, love, and renewal. As the family sat together, Nathan looked toward the future with a sense of peace in his heart. The road ahead would still be full of challenges, but with the truth as their foundation, they were ready to face whatever came their way. In the end, Nathan realized that family was not just about blood, but also about the bonds built through love, sacrifice, and forgiveness. The trials they had endured not only helped them understand each other better, but also led to a brighter future.